All right, guys, I want to welcome you to a special episode of Muddy River Catfishing. Today I have a special guest, of course, Steve Douglas.
Hey, everybody.
It's been a long time coming, Steve.
Yeah,
We've been working on trying to get together, and finally you got this Catfish Conference going, and I made the trip out here.
Yep. It's,
So-
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys made it, and look forward to a good weekend.
So how'd this thing come to be?
Well, my guy, Jeff Jones Marine, Jim Hopper, had been talking to me about it before, and of course when they brought me on board with their sponsorship, I had kind of mentioned that I could probably get a few catfish anglers up here and have like a little get together, and one thing led to another, and here we are today, about 2 days before the conference. And I think we're going to have probably about 1,500 to 2,000 people come through here to see this thing.
So it's not little anymore.
It's not little anymore. So we're getting a little nervous, but I think we can handle it.
Well, that's good. It just shows the interest in the sport, you know?
Oh, most definitely. Yep. And we were tickled for you guys to come in here. I mean, like I say, New Mexico's a long way from Kentucky. So.
Well, it's an honor to be invited, and it's great to get out here and experience something new. And
Yeah, I think we'll have a lot of fun, and it's going to benefit the sport, I do believe.
so tell me about yourself, Steve. I'm curious as to how you got into videos.
Yeah, I just started fishing, and then actually a younger boy that I kind of took under my wing was into the YouTube, and then YouTube had just started when I started doing videos. I've been in the game since like '06 or something like that. So YouTube was fresh and new, and we just started putting videos up. But I really never paid attention to it because I just used it for my own personal person.
Mm-hmm.
But I started getting views and followers, so I kind of started paying attention to it. And here we are today. Of course, you've helped me grow quite a bit. I mean, you've got a massive following of catfish anglers.
Well, we've helped each other, I
Yeah.
think, quite a bit, and
Yeah.
that's where that friendship came in. And you contacted me, and we kind of started from there. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's grown into something I never thought it would. You know.
Well, it's a family type fishing. You know, the fishing's for the whole family. It's just like, when I was into bass fishing, it's kind of the man thing. Drive your boat 70 miles an hour, and bass fishermen I hate to say this, but bass fishermen seem to think they're the only guys on the water. And that's coming from me with a big bass background.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's all fun now. I mean, I don't mind the bass guys. We actually pulled a couple bass guys off of a sandbar last week.
Oh yeah, I did see that
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and that water's pretty cold. Right
Yeah,
now.
it was 44 degrees, and we were able to help them out, and we took a little bit of our fishing time out, but it's worth it, when you can help somebody, because you never know, guys, when you're in trouble, help somebody out, because you may be standing there one day going, oh, where's everybody at?
Yeah.
I need some help.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that karma.
Yeah.
What comes around goes around. So.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to lend a helping hand.
No, that's for sure. But I was actually amazed at your videos when I seen this. I seen this young guy out there fishing in what I call the ditch. I would have never, to me, we have those kind of places where that bulrush and reeds are all around. It's just like for frogs and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm seeing this guy pull out huge flatheads, and it's intrigued me a little bit. That's when I reached out to you, and we've become friends ever since.
You know, it's interesting how I got started making my videos. I wanted to leave something behind, whether it be for my kids or my family, or for someone who can learn from my experiences. And so I had started keeping journals. And I was writing these journals, and I'd keep water temperatures, and I'd keep time of year, and what bait I used, and where I caught them, and what was going on. And then these journals, instead of just being specific, they started getting a little bit more into storytelling,
Oh,
I not only did I keep the details of what happened, but I'd document my trips, and I'd start writing about the time my dog got a hold of a skunk, and,
Right.
and then so as these journals were progressing, I started thinking, well, why don't I write a book? I should write a book. So I did. I started writing it. And I got about 30 pages into this thing, and I'm writing about bait tanks and different rigs and different baits. And then I'd go out fishing, and my brain never shuts off, you know. I'm thinking, I'm out there, and then I'd come up with this other idea. So then I'd go back to my book, and I'd have to edit or erase or add or.
Right.
And then after a few times of this, I said, you know what? I'm never going to finish this book. It's just going to, until I die, I'm going to keep learning. And that's,
Right.
you know, that's the sport of fishing. And so I was kind of thinking of a way to do it. And I had seen some videos on YouTube. And I think around that time is when I came across your videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of thinking, well, you know, that was a little more professional than what I can do. But then I came across a man by the name of Uncle Steve. Yeah, I don't know if you see Uncle Steve.
I know who exactly. Here we go, boys and girls of all ages.
Yeah. And I saw his videos, and I enjoyed them, and they were very simplistic in the way he made them. You know, he just put up a tripod and filmed himself out there fishing and learning as he went. And I thought, well, you know what? Why don't I just take a camera with me one of these days and go? I mean, I'm always fishing. What's it hurt to take a camera?
Right.
And that's pretty much how it started.
Well, I've thought about it. I mean, I see a lot of these guys that's on YouTube that has they're really nice channels. They got the real nice editing equipment. But I think that draw with you is you're just one of the guys. You're a guy just like them, sitting on a riverbank, throwing your rod out. You're not, you know, trying to get all this fancy editing equipment and flashing transitions and things. You're right there in their face, and I think that's what people like. You're just down to earth and no frills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's, you know, to me, it's the thing I've loved to do since I was a kid, and now I share it with my kids, and we go out there and.
Oh, I've seen the little one right there before. She handles them catfish like she knows what she's doing. So you taught her right, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, we have a blast out there.
Yeah.
She's the one. You know, well, I'll say, yeah, we'll go out 2-3 days, and third day comes, and so you ready to go? No, can't we just stay one more day? She don't want to go home.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, but maybe one day you get to come out there.
Well, we're going to try to come out there here soon and experience what you got. Like I say, I know there's more to it than what I'm seeing on video, but for the most part, I'm seeing some guy out there fishing just a little bit. Because you don't, I mean, I'm sure that water's really wide, but you don't see it because of the bulrush and the reeds.
Well, it's not. Well, there's a lot of water, I guess, like you're saying. You see that main piece, and then it kind of goes up behind there, and then it'll go up and then open into other spots and stuff. Yeah, so
I would have never, you know, just driving. If I was to drive past that piece of water, I'd probably say, "Oh, there's a bait where I get some bait." But I would have never imagined you'd be pulling out 30s and 40s out of
And you know, that's actually what I like about that spot, because it's very deceiving, and I kind of like it that way. I don't want people stopping by there and throwing out lines.
Exactly.
But you know, I've worked really, really hard for those spots, and I've worked hard at finding the fish in those spots. You know, I've gone in there and I spent days hacking away at bulrush just to see if I can find a place, you know, But yeah, it's paid off, and I've kind of got it figured out. And the transition that I'm trying to make, and I think the guys have seen it in my videos, is I'm trying to get out on that big lake and the big water. And I know there's big blue cats out there and there's big flatheads.
Well, I know there is too, and I'm going to try to get out there, but I can't guarantee that I could catch them either.
Yeah.
You know, we took an NFL running back out the other day, and I just wanted to put him on a big 40 or 50 pounder one time, and it wasn't in the cards. So you know, you can't always catch the big ones there every time you go out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's part of the deal, right?
Right.
But either way, just getting out there, trying and learning every time you go, that's what makes it happen.
Yeah, with my videos, I like to teach people, like you say, you do too, but I like to show them, you know, the rigs I'm using, how I go about it. You know, I do get a little editing time in mind, but that's stuff I've learned over the years. And I take a little bit more time to try to get the point across, because I mean, it's what I would want. It's how
Right.
it's how I learn, actually.
Right.
How I'm showing these people is how I would want to learn.
Right.
You know, you can be told 100 times how to do it, but you really need to be shown. I mean, I'm a guy, if you show me one time, I'm right there with you.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you try to explain it to me, I'm going to be scratching my head. So,
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot watching your videos, and you know, I'll sit there on a Saturday and I'll just put them on the TV and then be watching them. You know.
well, don't get me wrong. You can always, you're never too old to learn something new. And you're never, I mean, don't think this guy that just started fishing 6 weeks ago can't show you nothing either.
Right.
Because you never know what he knows and what he's found out.
Oh yeah, I've seen it in my experience. I've seen it and I've been humbled so many times that I got that exact mentality. I'll take a kid that doesn't know anything about anything and I'll start fishing, and I know because I've caught fish in this exact spot by this exact log or wherever. I'm gonna fish right here, and then he casts off back over here,
Right.
and I'm thinking there's no fish over there. He's not gonna catch it. And then he
Boom.
he pulls one out, and
So
then
you learn something.
it gets my brain. So my thing, and probably some advice that I would give, is always think outside the box. Take what Steve gives you guys, take what I give you, put it together, rip it apart, put it back together, add some to it, take it, you know, and just
Make it yours.
yeah, make it yours.
Yeah.
And make it work for you. These are things that we do that work for us. Don't always guarantee that it'll work for you, but there's some ideas and theories behind it that are a good basis and guideline to get you where you want to get.
Exactly. Anymore, I just try to have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I've been in the tournament scene and I've really worked, but anymore, I'm just ready to have fun.
What made you change from bass to catfish?
Bass fishing is just kind of, I mean, fast paced. Of course, I'm fast paced anyway, but it's just, you know, why go out there and catch a bass like that when I can go out there and catch something like this?
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, I don't have to rip and run up and down the lake like the bass guys do. Fish here for 5 minutes and run across the lake. It's just a little bit, I don't want to say it's easier by any means, but it's just funner, I think. It's fun to fish for the big old boys.
Yeah, that's what I've liked. I like the challenge of, you know, you don't know if you're going to catch a 2-pounder or
Right.
a 100-pounder, you know?
And it could happen either way. I mean, I've got it on video. I've got one fish on video when he asked me about how I got started in this, that young fella that was shooting video for me when we first started, I took him out to put him on a big fish, and you can actually see still got the video now. It's probably one of my oldest videos, but this fish is just hitting like this. And I said, I'm telling him, it's a channel cat. It's a channel cat. So there's certain ways you can reel in on a channel cat and catch them. With these circle hooks, you can't jerk. So
Right.
you reel in. But I kind of reeled in on that fish trying to catch me a channel cat because the fish were just absolutely not biting that day. And when I did, that was about a 70 or 80 that was biting just like a channel cat. So that really surprised me. But like I say, you never know what you're going to catch when you throw a piece of cut bait out. I mean,
Yeah.
you may catch a perch or ideally you want to catch a catfish, but every now and again.
Yeah, you know, when I started fishing and I started catching catfish, and I was even thinking about doing a video called my evolution as a fisherman,
Right.
and per se. And I remember, you know, I'd buy these #2 eagle claw hooks, and that was a big hook, you know, to me at the time. You know, this is a big old hook. You know?
Right.
I put a piece of bait like, you know, this big, and man, that's a big chunk of bait, you
Right.
know? And I remember watching these guys on in fishermen, and they're using big bluegill, 4-inch bluegills,
Right.
and it didn't compute in my brain at the time. I was like, how in the world is this fish gonna put a bluegill this big in its mouth? There's no way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I started experimenting with it and trying, and then
Right.
next thing you know, I'm catching these big flatheads.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's just, it goes back to that, think outside the box, go past your comfort zone and try new things, and you're gonna get different results.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you always got to try new stuff if it's not working. Actually, I got a video like that coming right now that I haven't edited yet, and it's pretty much thinking outside the box, try something new until you can find a pattern. You never know what them fish are going to want until you actually catch one. And then you can start patterning, just like we was fishing deep holes the other day, 70 foot deep. We was seeing fish, but we wasn't getting any bites. So I pulled up, but there was a little bit of current. So I pulled up in a current seam just right off the main current in the slacker water, and that's where we started catching fish. So, you start putting things together and getting a pattern, and your day goes a little bit better.
Yeah. So I've seen how you'll cut the heads, and you'll cut chunks, and you'll cut fillets. How critical do you think that is on fishing, the cut?
I think they do want it differently sometimes, especially flatheads. Flatheads, I seem to like the fillets a little bit better for some reason, and a head. They don't, chunk is all right, but the big blue cats seem to like the chunks. So, but yeah, that's another, you got to figure out what they want. But my best piece of cut bait is the chunk itself. I just like that better. It flows through the river a lot better, so I stick with the chunks. The heads, that's a double-edged sword. I mean, I've caught some big fish on heads before, but I've also lost some big fish on heads before where I'm thinking, man, I gave a $100 bill to see that fish.
Is that probably because it hooks back into itself?
It's because sometimes, you throw it out there and then the fish, the way they mouth it, it could hook back into itself. And, fish will hang on to a piece of bait without being hooked for a long time. He's going to try to fight that bait, I don't want that. So, I've had him come plumb to the boat and just let it go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember one time I was fishing, had this big piece of cut bait on, and I always fish, when I'm fishing off the bank, I always cast downstream, because the majority of the time, in my experience, they'll be swimming upstream, they grab that bait, and then they cut back downstream.
Yeah.
And it's usually, if they're swimming in a group, they want to get that bait and get away from the group. So I remember I was watching my line one time and had it out, cast it downstream, and saw a little slack in it. Thought it was odd. I thought maybe I got some trash on them. So I reeled it in a little bit, reeled it in a little bit more, and reeled it in a little bit more. And my line all of a sudden just starts going upstream, And then I finally got it where it was a little bit tight, and I could feel just a little bitty bumping like that. And I realized right away what it was, is he had just swam up, grabbed my bait without even flinching.
Yeah.
And he was dragging the weight, and that was that little bumping that I felt.
Oh, yeah.
So I just kind of gave him a little line, and then I set that hook, and it was probably about a 20-pound blue cat that did that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when they slip off like that on you, I've had them do that before, where they just start swimming upriver. And, in current now, your line kind of loops around, so you think you're still out there, but really your fish is already over here.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'd like to get out of them big rivers with you one of these days.
Well, we can do that. Next time you come down, hopefully it's not so cold and the rivers are not up. And if you come down here about August sometime, man, we could wear some fish out in the middle of the river in August.
Prime time fishing.
Prime time fishing. I mean, we got springtime's good, but August after the spawn, man, you catch hundreds of fish. And you never know what size they're going to be. And you catch multiple ones all at one time. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, I'll try to come down here one time. You try to get down there.
I'm going to try to get up in New Mexico here shortly, here in the next 3 months. I'd like to get up there before the spawn. So depends on work, but we're going to try our dangest to get up there and visit with you for a while.
Come on down.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see me and Steve Douglas together, let us know in the comments. Well, Steve, I appreciate you coming down, man.
Hey, it's good too. I'm glad you made it down here for the Catfish Conference. I'm kind of excited to see how it's all going to pan out with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. There's going to be a lot of people. We're going to see a lot of familiar faces and make a lot of new friends, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you for watching. And Steve, thank you. And
see you guys.
We'll see you next time.